There'll be a new day. Let's fly away.
Back in the early 90s, George Clinton recorded a song called Paint the White House Black. Now, even though we have a black president, the White House is still white, though it's got a lot more flavor inside than it ever has before. And D.C., of course, has always been a great city of soul, energy, and blackness. That's why they call it the Chocolate City. This is Nelson George from BlackAtlas.com. Welcome to D.C. Behind me is the African American Civil War Memorial, and it decorates and commemorates the struggles and the sacrifices of African American soldiers, both in the infantry as well as on sea, who fought for their own freedom during the Civil War. It's one of the anchors of the historic Shaw District along the U Street corridor, which is a traditional center of black culture throughout the 20th century. You're going to see the Lincoln Theater on U Street, the African American Civil War Museum, and many, many other parts that decorate and commemorate black history. There's also a thriving and growing Ethiopian community which is leaking over from Adams Morgan. Duke Ellington was born in the Shaw District in 1899, and he's immortalized on the building over my shoulder, the True Reformer building. A mural's been here just a few years, but it symbolizes Duke's legacy as a musician and as a resident of Washington, D.C. I'm in front of Ben's Chili Bowl, which if you can't talk DC food, you can't talk U Street Corridor or the district, the Shaw District, without talking Ben's Chili Bowl. It's been here since 1958. Everyone from Bill Cosby to President Obama has eaten here. But if you come to DC, obviously this is a landmark. The food is great, the atmosphere is fantastic. And actually just in the last year, they've opened up a new spot, Ben's Next Door, a bar restaurant, which is a more upscale vibe. So if you want the old school, traditional diner, grimy, fun, tasty vibe, it's Ben's Chili Bowl. If you're a little more upscaling with the sports bar vibe, Ben's Next Door. But either way you look at it, a major destination here in Washington, D.C. Of all the historically black colleges, Howard has always been my favorite for a number of reasons. I'm a music person, and Howard has a strong connection to African American music culture. WHUR was one of the first great black FM radio stations, started here in the 70s. Roberta Flack and Donny Hathaway both attended Howard University. I used to stay at the Howard University Hotel. I remember coming to see Prince here for his Purple Rain tour in DC and staying right here on Georgia Avenue. And anybody who knows hip hop, you have to give props to Howard for having the great Sean Puffy Combs attend there. He didn't graduate to my knowledge, but he did attend and learned a lot about business and entrepreneurship here in Washington, D.C. I know there's a lot of great cultural history that's non-musical, but for me, Howard's always been a place that's connected to music. And be honest, let's say great parties. Howard University, homecoming weekend, come on, you know what I'm talking about. Because the struggle for equality under the law and civil rights is a central part of the American narrative and what democracy is all about, this mall, the Washington Mall, is kind of the town hall of America, and all of these battles have been fought and immortalized here. Behind me is the Lincoln Memorial, which represents two incredible, important moments in black American history. The Lincoln Memorial, the Emancipation Proclamation, not a very eloquent piece of work, but it freed the slaves during the height of the Civil War and eventually led to the beginning of our liberation here. Here at the Lincoln Memorial, I do feel like I'm on really holy ground. Obviously, Lincoln, the man behind me in the chair, signed the Emancipation Proclamation that gave freedom to the slaves, meaning my ancestors. And then I'm here on the steps in front where Dr. King and hundreds of thousands of people in 1963 gave one of the most celebrated addresses and went to one of the most amazing marches in the history of the United States, a civil rights march that still echoes in our country. So the Washington Mall is more than just a patch of ground with a nice lake in the middle. It's part of the sinew and backbone of our existence here in this country. On the other end of the mall from the Lincoln Memorial is, of course, the Capitol building, home of the Congress, the Senate, Democrats and Republicans, and all those laws we love so much. But in terms of black history, this patch of land I'm standing on its resonance in a lot of ways. I mean, I actually came out here in early 80s to a rally to make Dr. King's birthday a national holiday, and I remember seeing Stevie Wonder up there performing and singing as part of that movement. Years later, of course, the Million Man March happened right here. Farrakhan and many others spoke that day. And of course, the most important speech perhaps in the history of Black America, and perhaps the most important speech in the history of America, happened in January 2009 when Barack Obama was inaugurated as President of the United States on the steps behind me. So when it comes to the Washington Mall, an area which is kind of a tourist area in a sense, it's also a central location for Black history and perhaps the Black future. Nelson George for BlackAtlas.com. Catch you in the air.